It's a pleasant welcome to another edition of the Star Good Morning Show here on Star Television. We broadcast live from our Media One Center, 3 Mama Street, Bookfields in Freetown. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamara. Today being Monday, the 21st of July, 2025. Top stories in the program. The Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, through its Armed Forces Endowment and Loan Scheme, has paid a total of 116 million to 36 military personnel who were convicted last year for their involvement in the November 26 coup. Joining me in the studio is Jesmed for the Suma, the chairman and leader, otherwise legitimate leader of the National Grand Coalition. He has joined me in the studio to discuss the democratic system of Sierra Leone, particularly the NGC, as well as the current state of the country's economy. Great to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
It's been a while.
Indeed.
You can be part of the program by sending us messages to the number 080 21 31 38 or commenting below our Facebook Live page. The Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rokel Commercial Bank.
The name Rokel is derived from the longest river in Sierra Leone, which empties into the Atlantic Ocean that portrays the greatness expected of the bank as a gateway to banking. Now the bank has 17 branches, 12 outlets and more than 200 agents located in strategic areas of the country, and most of them are supported with ATMs. Embracing the digital age, innovation and transformation, the bank has introduced its e-banking basket with remittance services like MoneyGram, Western Union and RIA. In the basket, you can find ATM, card services, POS and SIM copper products. With the money transfer services, you can send and receive money from Sierra Leone. With our Visa and prepaid card, you can withdraw cash locally and internationally, shop online, pay bills, and much more. Whether you have an account or not, Rokel Bank will issue a prepaid card to you. Just load it up and you are on the go. With a Rokel Copper Card, you can withdraw and transfer funds locally. Request statements and change of PIN and password facility is available. If you left your Visa or prepaid card behind, you can access funds through any of our bank branches, outlets or agents by using SimCopper or issue of an e-Copper check through the SimCopper app. You can also access funds through cardless transaction on our ATMs through the SimCopper platform. Responding to environmental concerns and climate change, Rokel has maintained its tree planting site since 2019 to date. That is why the bank's MD and management has been recognized locally and internationally, including the members of the House of Representatives of South Carolina for their contribution to economic development in the banking industry. And remember, if you don't have a bank account, it's never too late. Rokel Commercial Bank, the bank of choice. The name Rokel is derived from the longest river in Sierra Leone, which
For the Suma, the chairman and leader of the National Grand Coalition Party, has joined me in the studio to discuss the democratic system of Sierra Leone, particularly the NGC, as well as the current state of the country's economy. Great to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, my friend.
Jasmine, I think for the benefit of hindsight, we're going to have this discussion in Creole because particularly so there are things you may want to discuss for which you want your membership and other members in society to fully understand.
Absolutely.
Issues. Great.
Absolutely.
How, quite a long time. How you do?
They do fine, my brother. They do very fine.
How the party NGC?
The NGC party, we did a toss right now where we get, the NGC and National Grand Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
But get a faction where, now the Kandeh Yumkella faction, where they call themselves the National Grand Alliance. So the National Grand Alliance, then they create a revolt within the party, for get control of the party and sell them to Kandeh Yumkella and the SLPP. Whereas the chairman and leader, me, and the rest of the NGC membership, they stand up to them and make sure say the NGC continue for the absolutely independent of any political party, independent of any individual. So that's the tussle we're fighting right now.
Looking at the current political landscape, one will get this impression, say, with the one way don't lean in support already to the SLBP, we are the government in power, perhaps we'll get a capital edge over what you guys intend doing as well. Could I be right?
Well, that's the modus operandi. That's the modus operandi. That's the way system they operate in this country also. Now, plenty of people they wonder why third parties are not survive as alone. And the same challenge where that third party they not experience, now we they experience so, because you get elements within APIS and SLPP, they bankroll specific individuals and within third parties them, when they want for use for controlling third parties and they for align to them. In we own case now, we form a flag bearer when Dr. Kandeh Yumkella. He look the party, he dump we after he mislead we into an alliance, and then he abandon we, but he want for still get control over how the party they run. And as you all know, being one of the people them, we be listen to them, we join them for convince the people of Sierra Leone, including especially the NGC members, against the wishes of several of we members them, we decide to resign from the party on account of their own belief, say, that a mistake will be the make. And indeed, we are right. We are making a very colossal mistake.
Let me begin.
Let finish this thought quick, please.
Okay.
So we get into this unholy alliance, where all man knows say it turned out to be a betrayal. Where Dr. Kandeh Yumkella, we need to declare, say, they're not the only one who I trust in this process. So if any attempts we make for go along with this particular move here, therefore be based strictly on waiting in the tell we, especially me personally. In the end, when we realize say they don't mislead we, they don't jump ship, we go to the SLPP, they dump we, they abandon we, they disgrace we, humiliate we, play we ungrateful. Now we decide say, you know what, Lord left the man, let go. Let we hold on to the party. Let we try to move the party forward. That's not enough for him. He sent the minions within the party for terrorize the rest of the other people them. We seem aggrieved, we don't angry, we don't feel bitter. Then they attack people on social media, humiliate Mami the way for burn them. That same terror where they exist inside SLPP, where they exist inside APC. Now in the Kandeh Yumkella faction, bring inside the NGC, they terrorize the rest of we. Million then get social media, attack me, Facebook, all side. Mami cause all kind nasty thing them. Wouldn't throw at me. Then disgrace mortal man inside the NGC party when I Kandeh Yumkella and minions them. When people and when Mami then we love the NGC party, then back off. So then people like we say, you know what? That same terrorize and terrorize Dennis Bright. We make a fine gentleman like that one day in family pressure and say back out. That same terrorize the way them be and to me. I say we they stand up to them. And that fight they will do on right now for make sure say we continue for maintain the control of the NGC party.
So in the two factions, who is winning the current battle?
Well, the matter is simple. We have a legitimately constituted chairman and leader of the party, which is I, Jesmed Suma, where institutions of government were responsible for ensure say they regulate the activities of political party, has the moral onus for ensure say the democratic principles the way party that they sign up to, where enshrined inside the constitution is respected. So in that process, we dey listen to PPRC and listen to the matter within a court, because the youth them decide say for sue the Secretary General, when Amadu Sheriff, when the one where they lead the alliance faction, where they try for violate every spirit of the constitution of the NGC party. So the matter in a court, but the kind thing when we want everybody listen to. We know say we don't get this pattern where party the way any of them party want for control. As soon as I get Kuskas, they say we go court. Then they control the court system, control the regulatory body against the faction where they don't want for deal with. I want to let them know say the same mistake with the Seka Stevens of yesteryears, the Sierra Camara Taylors of yesteryears, the Momos of yesteryears, and the Escromas of yesteryears get a pattern where if then understand that pattern they not go one for them at the least of that disgraceful history with the respect of with respect to the people that they lead PPRC right now and the one that the judiciary, because in our own case is different from the Seka Steven days. Every action where we take now, every failure of action where we take now are digitally captured. History is going to write about it. The history will reflect the real truth of waiting that they do or not they do. So if you not judge, you do undermine the future of Sierra Leone by denying the people the opportunity for get an alternative to APC and SLPP. You can pick in and go read an history books. If you are the chairman of PPRC or the executive secretary of PPRC, you suppress democratic process, deny the people of Sierra Leone an option when it comes to 2028, just because you're beholden to them. Your grandkids and your kids will read about you in the history books of Sierra Leone. And if those history books are read by you, so then I then go spit by your grave tomorrow. Say that we are all put this country in foundation. So that's the only one I have to give to them. So as far as we are concerned, according to the records at PPRC, Jesmed F. Suma is the legitimate, constitutionally mandated chairman and leader of the NGC party, and is continuing to be so until we organize our lower level elections. The young man that will take the party to court, Wilfred Wright, when are the PRO, FM Kebe, when are one of the youth leaders, Juma, and what they call Alpha Jallo. These are young men then, where they don't clinch and feature to the NGC party. They see the unconstitutional action of the Secretary General when they do the bidding of Kandeh Yumkella. The man don't left for party, he don't go SLPP. He don't go left way alone. He don't go left way alone, now you don't dump we. Why are you supporting minions within our party for destroy the NGC party just because you don't abandon them? If you don't abandon them, we have to make sacrifices. 8-9 years of our lives have been invested in the NGC party. People and they na carrying it. When this thing happening, they call me, they cry in a phone as chairman and leader. Chairman, what's happening? How this man don't do we so? How this man don't abandon we so? What thing we need for do? And they console them. They cry in a phone with them. From Karine, from Falaba, from Kwenadugu, from the south, other side them. Me then at the center, try for console them. I don't go talk for them people when they up in the diaspora. We pump them money. Where they say everything from the 10 NGC exists. The majority of the funding has been coming from the diasporas. Majority of the effort have been coming from people on the ground where they sacrifice their time, go to meeting, organize people then. Then you abandon the one and then you say no. After that abandon, I don't want to give the opportunity for run the party. I don't sacrifice for. I don't put on a life living for. People that don't lost jobs then on account of the NGC party. People that don't love opportunities on account of the NGC party. But if you don't left, we know where left we go. Why you they support the Secretary General when I inform a PA, when I other minions, they terrorize money then at the party. Cost and terrorize, just the kind of terrorize them is bright. May fine gentleman like that one day. Think he said them go bring can to people like we, so we go run away. Now I say no. In fact, now I fly candle. I say this fight here, we fight them and see to the end. And we see the action, we observe the actions of each and every head of the institutions and of government, we're responsible for ensuring the democratic process of this country is enshrined and protected. This is not a threat, and this is not a threat to any political party. It's not a threat to SLPP.
Two things.
Yes.
Jesmed. One, where is the current status of the party? That is one. Two, are you of this conviction that the NGC would be in a better footing as we don't begin to get the signals in the 2028 elections?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's not the fear we didn't get.
And
the fear we didn't get
of a third force not being potentially effective, that did not get the wherewithal for undo the two traditional parties.
That is true. But let me tell you something. The main reason why Kandeh Yumkella, they finance the minions and for go after and destroy the NGC party, now because we the fear we didn't get in the potential of NGC setting and offset in 2028, especially when the people of Sierra Leone don't see 10 years of failures of the APC. They don't see 8 to 9 to 10 years of the failures of the SLPP party. So they know say the people of Sierra Leone are disgruntled. They are absolutely determined for look for an alternative to them two political parties again. And they don't see say the leadership of the NGC party, having gotten all these years of experience within the geopolitics of Sierra Leone, and see how they machinate stuff, how they corrupt stuff, how they intimidate stuff, and see say because we are determined to ensure say this time around this third party survives. Now that they terrify them. If not that they terrify them, they for not left alone. They say they're not getting no viability, they're not getting no prospect. God left them. But because they know say this is the most viable political party to create an upset. Because you see, all other political parties that are the past, they get one major thing in common. The people that we can form them, they originate from either APC or SLPP. Then do it because they're disgruntled. The same corrupt system with them in David's, APC and SLPP, then bring kind of the third party. Now make you see all the different third parties, they're almost there in name only. The NGC party now the same problem we get. We get people that will come out SLPP, then people that will come out APC, then still get an SLPP, APC, habit them, then dump inside the NGC, the one for machinate the process, and then how we then don't they do all this thing. But what thing make we on different, we get a lot of independent-minded people then. Where we not want to join the APC and SLPP. Where because of the order and the hope and the expectation where we get in the future of this nation and the future of the party, we join the NGC. So that I make the fact tough inside NGC because independent and plenty, we want an independent political party with a fight. If now first 10, we'll declare other party, then we go say, oh, that's an APC man, oh, no, go back now, APC. Now SLPP man, oh, we don't get no side for go. We never belong to them. And we are determined not to go to APC, we are determined not to go to SLPP, we are determined to stay straight and maintain our NGC party. The only stumbling block that we have is Dr. Kandeh Yumkella, who is financing his minions to destroy the NGC party. And we're going to continue to fight them until we free our party from their claws.
So how you hope for get them right?
The matter is in court. We are listening to the issues that are happening in court, and we will continue for build we party up, continue for organize we party up, continue for reach out to we members them, for keep them hopes and recruit more people them, and run the party as supposed to be running.
We see Jesmed for be carrying the tickets of a presidential flag bearer in 2028 to the NGC.
My focus right now, I know say there is a lot of calls, say, hey Jesmed, why you don't run for president, this and that. My focus right now is to build the NGC party. There was a time where I belonged from political party. Everybody was shocked when I announced I don't run for the flag bearership of the party. Because my focus always is to look for the best Sierra Leonean who can lead a viable third force against APC and SLPP. Because there are decent Sierra Leoneans out there. We don't shy away from politics. Not because they're not getting interest in Sierra Leone and its future, but because of the violence, the corruption, the machination, the liberalism, we don't want to be part of. Because the issue of the Sierra Leone politics, you got to be morally decadent. In other words, you got to be corrupt inside your soul. You got to be heartless inside your soul. You got to forget people. You got to forget the heart. We not get conscience. We not get empathy. Empathy means a person not get sorry heart. Conscience means a person way not they feel for what the guy ought to do somebody. They understand? Like when Sheriff, they look people inside the party, who don't sacrifice 8-9 years, he write letter no more, so you're expelled. Then PPRC, they wait for step foot and say that is wrong. We will look at them. But in any case, we on party, me on focus. Now for ensure say we build the NGC party, invite any Sierra Leonean of like minds, we get a clean record, we're able for decide say this country will not for left and let continue. So we will join hand and look for the right flag bearer who will lead the party. That's my focus.
Jesmed, for once, let we shift a little bit of attention to, let we just forget about the eternal wrangling about on NGC and Dr. Kandeh Yumkella, and perhaps focus on a little about the current political trend,
Yes.
Democratic principles of the country. In 2018, the nation ushered in a new political administration. We take over after APC. Pretty much aware as to the dealings of APC then, and equally aware as to what SLPP did do since 2018 to now. What are your conviction on the current political administration in terms of the manifesto promises, the health sector, the economy, education, international relation, you name it? What's your impression?
You know, the general assessment, Sierra Leone then a sorry state. It is a sorry state because we still rely on the World Banks and the IMF for dictate and define what now the state of our economy. Whereas the people, the Maniden, will hold the cradle of our economy. The young man and the youth them, they picking them, and the part they will work hard. Then they take them out of the statistics in describing how the state of the economy is. Any leader when they come to this country also for leads alone, they still depend on APC or they still depend on IMF and World Bank. Where from the 1960s to now, they don't ever get it right. No say that particular leadership and that particular government is on the path of failure. A very transformational leadership of this country. Any leader when a transformational leadership, it not going to be transactional. Transactional means where I want to do something, whether good or bad for the people, but as he say, hey, na Brahman, na I'm able for siphon that $1 or $2 million for me put on my private account. So instead of I give Joe, we competent enough to run the ministry, I say, Brahman, you come. Then a transactional leadership. Not that kind of leadership that we need. And that kind of leadership that we operate right now. We need a transformational leadership where they focus on the interests of the people, where they look at the interests of the poor, try to find ways and lift them out of poverty. And there is a way to do that. I have a strategy. There are people in the NGC party that has the knowledge and the know-how. There are Sierra Leoneans within and outside this country with the knowledge and the know-how to transform this economy and lift millions of people out of poverty. As I speak right now, according to the very World Bank and IMF statistics, we have over 65.8% of the population of this nation that are below the poverty line. How you will consider that to be development? How you will consider a nation to be developing where 70 to 80% of the economy is controlled by foreigners? Where the major investments then are run by foreigners? Where the agencies of government, where they bring the revenue come, are controlled by foreigners? How can you consider an economy to be developed when the people that are bona fide, legitimate citizens of the nation, they are living off the crumbs of the economy? We in NGC know how to lift Sierra Leoneans out of poverty, and I will explain to you if you ask me how to do it.
Well, perhaps that's the consideration we Dr. Yumkella take for get an alliance with SLPP and help the SLPP out. Are you of that conviction?
I just mentioned earlier, say, Sierra Leone does not need a transactional leader.
And who is one?
A transactional leader is one way they look at corruption, they say, ah, na man now and as long as you do me bid, let me just focus. Yeah, how can you develop a nation when you're compromising on principle? We need a leader that is principled, that is focused, that is conscientious, that has empathy, that has... It's not about having the know-how. There is a difference between having the know-how and having the moral standing and ethical values where go guide you for develop that knowledge the way you get. And that's what is lacking within our politics. Everybody want to make sure say then cover the sacred cows and sacred chickens and holy goats. You cannot lead a nation like that.
Few days ago, you were on social media. I think Usai, you commend the leadership of the president on his appointment as chairman of ECOWAS.
Mm-hmm.
Many people begin to juxtapose the real Jesmed as opposed to the principle we hold.
Mm-hmm.
If you get any reason why you do give out that congratulatory message as opposed to the things where you talk again about the current sitting president in political administration?
Very important. There is a political lens in which you look at person, you assess, evaluate them. There is a nationalistic lens where you look at the national interest of the nation, way above the politics, without differences we get with somebody. For let they appoint anybody, be it the president of Sierra Leone or you, Abdurrahman, on an international platform for lead an international body, irrespective of how that is done, bring some positive attention and positive credit to the nation. A nationalist like I am, that seeks the interest of the nation, will look above our political difference and embrace the fact that there is good credit coming to the nation. And I don't care whether the person will come, and they embrace that person. That I can commend and where they appoint him as the chairman of ECOWAS.
On your assessments about the economy now, you don't talk, say, if I give you the leverage, you will speak much more on that. Now, let's assume for once, you become the president in 2028, if you choose for VI. With the current trend, both the economy, health, education, social life, and all the rest of it, you get a silver bullet for change things around.
The fact is this, there are no silver bullet in addressing the complicated situation of poverty, the complexity of poverty in any economy. You understand? There is no silver bullet. But for let you be able to address, for let anybody be able to address poverty in Sierra Leone or any country, you can forget a specific type of mindset. You can forget a specific type of character. You can be a principled person. You got to be somebody who is nationalistic enough. You got somebody who understand the intricacies of the economy of the nation. You got to get a leadership skill for because we get all the talent. But because you are the leader, then they expect you to define a vision. And when you define the vision, you guide your team. You bring the best brain them for deliver on that vision. So a leader without a vision, a leader that is not principled, a leader that is not disciplined, I don't care which kind of knowledge you get, you're not going to run this country. There are 4 fundamental pillars what we need to understand first for let we be able to lift people out of poverty. The pillar number 1, you need a transformational leader. Pillar number 2, one way committed to fighting corruption. Pillar number 3, we're committed to getting rid of tribalism. Pillar number 4, we're committed to bringing in discipline within the system of governance. Forget about that teacher in the street, forget about that police in the street. But forget about soldier man who they threaten with him. Forget about all that one day. The one day they take a cue from the leadership. Until the leadership is disciplined, you're not going to expect discipline around in any part of the nation. So you start discipline from the top. When you say this traffic now, so you go. I don't care whether I'm minister, but who? Why you for come, you divert the traffic, you win against the traffic. Then you expect the people the way they see that one day for respect the traffic rule. That's just an example. So until there is discipline at the top, and the NGC leadership, the way we try to restructure, we'll be able to provide the leadership, we'll be able to get that discipline, We're going for bring that transformational visionary leadership, and we're going for set up a team who will deliver on the vision. In terms of fighting tribalism, let's just touch on one of the two of the 4 years. In terms of fighting tribalism, if you put a law, when a standard law, say in every government institution, in every ministerial appointment, in every agency of government, in every institution where government gets an influence on, there should never be more than 30% of any tribe being hired to run that institution. So which means, out of every 9 person where you appoint in any ministry, if you don't get 3 Mende man, you cannot exceed it. If you don't get 3 Timini man, you cannot exceed it. If you don't get 3 Soso man, you cannot exceed it. But there are so many tribes in this country, man. Not to one tribe no more get the brains for everything. And when you do that one day, you put laws the way they enable somebody who feel discriminated against. For take lawsuit, let's say you're a minister of finance, you run a project, we all don't apply, different people don't apply. You get for award 9 positions to that project to people that we don't apply. And the people that we don't apply, so until you get 10 Timini man, 15 Mende man, 5 Soso man or whatever, they all don't apply, they all get the qualification, this and that. Then you can apply, you hire all 9 of them Timini man them. Law for the way the rest of the people that we feel aggrieved, we meet all the requirements for sue you as a minister, sue your ministry and sue the government for discrimination. When I go to Berlin court, now you go define a court now whether you meet the requirement of the law. We say no more than 30% of any tribe. We say no more than whatever.
Apologies. What you go say to Uda they listen to you now will tell you so come on watch. Jesmed, what you they talk so these are Western principles, they are not applicable in our current political setting. So no waste your time. What will you say to them?
Well, if that is the case, then let's don't aspire to be like the West. Let's don't aspire to develop like America. Let's don't aspire to develop like England. Let's don't aspire to create more jobs. Let's don't aspire to make the economic level a playing field. Let's don't aspire to narrow the income gap. You get this? The income inequalities. Now, one of the areas and the way economists don't look into in this country, if they get people where they live, where they spend 2-3 million leons a day, like that, you know, they hack their itself. They get majority of the people on the ground, we can't afford 500 leons a day, 200 leons a day. You see that income gap? Until we get a system where they narrow that gap there. You understand, eh? Right now, for fight against poverty, coming back to your original question, they get specific areas them where they call you know, they measure poverty in 2 ways. They get the monetary and income level, when they say, okay, anybody who name for earn, say 3%, or say $3 a day or $4 a day, you are considered to be below the poverty line. I think now it's about $3-something when they don't review. First I've been $1 or $2, but now I don't go to $3.2, where are the poverty line. Now, then realize say, if you then take on a monetary term, you know they actually capture poverty as a whole. Because if I get me millions now, let's say I call myself, I become a billionaire in this country, I get me billions. Emergency happen, I get heart attack. Ambulance not if I can't take me. What me billions go do? So then introduce something they call multi-dimensional poverty measure, where they measure the population in accessibility or lack thereof to healthcare, education, food security, housing, and then kind of a major life supporting accessibility then. So if me want for fight poverty, the first thing what they do, especially now we don't discover crude oil in this country, they don't discover crude oil. We get discover crude oil with billions and billions of barrels of oil they don't discover. Right now as I speak, blocks of the oil they don't begin sell them out to investors. Imagine if that kind of money they come to this country. We don't get a government where they plan ahead for set a situation where they help the money them, help the young man them, and able to lift people out of poverty. So to fight poverty, you must address the issue of food security, you must address the issue of education, you must address the issue of healthcare, you must address the issue of housing, you must address the issue of transportation, you must address the issue of access to water. So then 6 fundamental multi-dimensional support of life elements a day. We don't forget enough public investment in them. And make sure, say, the amount of money where people in they spend on education, they call them free quality education. What is free about the quality of education? What is free about the education? Where over half of the population, where they picking away to go to school, not get access to public schools. Parents then get for the finance money for going to private schools.
So, hold a little bit. You touch on very important things, Jesmed. If I take you from what you say, that the current political administration don't discover crude oil. Now, you view that they sell blocks them, huge amount of money. Your expectation now for improving infrastructural development, or perhaps that money could be used for imperil the development of potential political parties for calmer power in 2018?
Well,
that is one. Secondly, in all that you've seen from 2018 to date, when we get the new direction and now we get the big 5 government big 5 changes, what really has changed?
Well, first of all, in terms of the oil money we would expect for them to come, I cannot tell what this government or any other government may intend to do with the money. We'll just get a look at the trend. When somebody tell you the way it is, believe me, because that way they go there in the future. So that's what I can say. I cannot tell, but what I can tell you, if I'm in a position of leadership, I don't have to be president. I just need to be in a position when I'll be able to influence the decisions that affect the lives of our people. I will make sure that every household in this country has access to electricity. When I say access, I mean affordable access to electricity. And there are strategies in place that we have put together in NGC how to make electricity not only accessible but affordable across the entire country.
Well, we got somebody in an NGC lead already that is taking the lead in this electricity, Dr. Kandeh Yumkella.
I'm coming. Dr. Kandeh Yumkella is no longer part of the NGC party. So we're talking about the NGC. Dr. Kandeh Yumkella is absolutely committed to the SLPP party, even though he wants to still control the NGC. So that's not him. Let's focus on the economic development now. The second one is food security. When people can get access to affordable food, staple food, then they will think right, then go be healthy, then we'll get energy for go work. The price of rice going up to 900 to almost 1,000 leones is not affordable for plenty, where the income level is less than maybe 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 leones. So how can they live, feed their family?
So the question is also, what really has changed?
What really has changed? Much has not changed. The level of hardship is still, if not worse. The only thing that have changed, the leadership have changed. The political party in governance has changed. The people running the show have changed. But the lives of the people still continue to be down. The only credit I can give, though, is the current Minister of Finance. The current Minister of Finance has done an incredible job in working together with the monetary policy of the central bank to reduce the inflation rate. These people inherited inflation at 16% in 2018. Under their regime, the inflation went up to over 52%, when a non-war inflation. One of the worst inflation we don't experience within the past 20 years. But this new Minister of Finance came, he was able to work, because I say Minister of Finance, even though the issue of inflation has to be mostly influenced by the monetary policy of the central bank, but we don't see the monetary policy of the central bank over the years prior to the time where before this minister come into the play, because and during the watch the inflation rate up go to 52%. But when this minister, the new Minister of Finance, came, he own influence able for tally with the monetary policies, because when they affect the monetary policy now because of the fiscal irresponsibility of the fiscal policy, the central, the Minister of Finance. You understand? Because what thing that happen is when there is fiscal irresponsibility, fiscal mismanagement of the funds of government, then they always come back to the central bank for take more money. And if you get a central bank governor, we're not independent enough, you just dance to the beck and call of the central government, they know they get a very good monetary policy who will get a positive impact. But since this minister come, they don't reduce inflation from 52%, not only down to 16%, but further down to 14%. So they don't bring inflation down below the rate where they taken in 2018. That is an incredible improvement. But what they are lacking on is trying to invest in social capital development, where they affect the poor, where they affect the weak in the economy, the women them, the youth them, the mommy them. That's the investment they are not doing. And to do that, there has to be a massive strategic policy guidelines where they invest in social development. I'll give you an example. If somebody
they give free consultants now.
I know. Let's assume say somebody they make just 2,000 leons a month. Where most of the people that they make in this country 2,000 leons or less a month. But when they go for who pay house rent, the house rent now maybe 12, 15 or 20 million leons a year, which is more than 60% of their monthly income. Then picking and go for good school. Then they pay private school, maybe 12 million leons, which by itself is 50% of their monthly income. Annual income, I should say. If you divide them by 12, it's a monthly income. So if the people end up spend on those basic fundamental support of life areas, then I don't care whether you pay them 2 million, 5 million, 10 million or more, it's not going to have any serious impact in their lives. Because as speaking for 6, so let's assume you get 50,000 leons now in bank we don't save over the years. You go to hospital and say they pay 30,000 leons. That now over half of your savings you don't put into one so. But if you invest in healthcare, where we don't write a policy document on how to introduce public health system, where they generate over $95 million every year just from the public insurance, so that whether mommy don't hold in card, they pay 2% of the income. When that 2% of the income, they maybe if now 1,000 leons, they make now 20 leons you will pay every month. You pay that 20 leons every month. You get an insurance card. When you're sick, you go to hospital. Doctor treat them, you don't need for pay nothing again. As long as you get an insurance card there. That money there, you don't address one major area of poverty for them. We go make you not spend that in savings on healthcare.
Okay.
You come to the issue of food security. We follow exactly as they do in other parts of the world we don't develop. Every development economist will tell you, say, industrial development we experience right now in most of the developed countries, they all start from an agrarian economy. But then shift from agrarian economy to industrial economy by investing aggressively in the agricultural sector, in the agrarian economy. And that make them get farm subsidies in Europe, where America pick up, themselves adopt farm subsidies up to this blessed day. Every year they give billions and billions of dollars to farmers there. As you dey grow food, they give you money inside America, inside Europe. You dey grow food, you dey get cow, then they pay you for the number of cow the way you get. Then they pay you for the number of food that you develop. So as a result, people all man they rush for go develop agriculture where they increase the supply of food, where they reduce the cost of feeding, when at the same thing we need for introducing inside this country. Where we don't write policy inside the NGC party, where we know they give based on the political support we give me certain, you know, Rogbamba village, now you support me, no. Now based on how much rice you grow, where end of the year reach, we can't. You produce waiting 10,000 bags, no problem. 10,000 bags will give you 20 or 30,000 leons per bag. Now you don't subsidy that one day. Now granite you grow, how many kilos? 100,000 kilos will give you almost 1,000 leons per kilo. So when you provide them farm subsidy the day, you go see man they left free to go applying for go lay farm. Because you know say if they get subsidy where they help them, at least if they cover the cost of transportation, you're able to make money. And the more you produce, the more subsidy you get. And this government, this Sierra Leone government, this Sierra Leone economy can sustain it, especially with the crude oil coming. When you provide a kind of subsidy, it lifts him 70% of our employment, 60 to 70% of our economy is now the agrarian economy. Now people where they root from agriculture, either the way they grow them, or the way they sell them, or the way they process them into different food. If you add all them things in there, over 60 to 70% of the job creation now this world, now this country, now the agrarian economy. So if you want to lift people out of poverty, invest in the agrarian sector. The other sectors then, especially with respect to this trading and aspect, building factories and stuff, there is so much discrimination against Sierra Leoneans in the Sierra Leone economy today. It's so much discrimination. Discrimination by our government, people who are running our government, favoring foreigners, giving them privileges that Sierra Leoneans themselves do not have in their own country. We need a government, a leader that is going to be able to change that. We're not driving foreigners away. We're encouraging them to come. But there are specific areas of investment that we need foreigners to be. Not to can sell tomatoes and yabas.
You may outline 4 key principles on good leadership. Jesmed, not so?
Yes.
You named them. On the past and present, do you see a semblance of what you've highlighted?
No. That's why we're in this abysmal state of our economy. Because we don't have that type of leadership. And that's what Sierra Leone needs. We need a transformational leader that is disciplined, that is patriotic enough, that understands the intricacies of our economy, and knows how to put the Sierra Leonean interests above all else. So let's give you one example in Ethiopia. Ethiopia economy is still 10 times bigger than us. They're over 10 times developed than us. Now said they're not beginning experience some economic hardship. The banking sector, you know, all these decades, several decades, you know when they open the banking sectors to foreign investment? The banking sector. Last month, Ethiopia opened the banking sector to foreign investment. Because you know what they want to do when they succeed? They make sure say the flow of money in and out of the economy is controlled by Ethiopians. You will never see a Western Union agency, a money transfer agency that is owned and run by a non-Ethiopian. And that's the same in most other African countries that have developed than us. There are certain sectors in our economy that should be exclusively reserved for Sierra Leoneans, period. We want foreigners to come and invest in factories that we cannot afford to make. But to go buy and sell tomatoes, yabas, for buy and sell tomatoes and yabas and salt and pepper, but people are able to do that one day, but we for restrict down a day, for sell medicine and pharmacy should be restricted to Sierra Leoneans. For sell certain basic things should be restricted to Sierra Leoneans. This is not discrimination. It's just absolutely how other nations then develop. When they focus on the nationals, uplift them. You see, God, Salon, we sorry. We need the type of leadership who understand how other countries they don't develop. Let's give an example to America. You see the railway system in America, the private sector they run most of the time. But the investment starts with the public sector. Then pump somebody come with an idea, the government pump it. Internet where you see what they enjoy so. Now private sector and then start them. First inside the military, then you go to the private sector. The government, inside Al Gore and vote the last vote, where government pump money for build the internet network. Today, the entire economy is dependent on the internet. Over and above that, you see the electric vehicle, the way they see in America. Elon Musk in electric vehicle, in Tesla, he almost go bankrupt 3 times. They get government will invest into Elon Musk in development, will make Elon Musk now they control the electric vehicle market inside America and other parts of the world. So what I try to say is that we need a government where they look at Sierra Leonean talent, Sierra Leonean ingenuity, Sierra Leonean means of developing themselves. They don't need handout from government. We don't need that liberalism. Where 1 minute you come to minister, I give you 50,000, you go and this and that. That's servitude mentality. Now with that type of government, with that government leadership, they don't get. Some of you not interested in that. Now make everybody get several different names. As somebody don't turn minister, so you don't turn manager, so you don't get name again. Manager, director, manager, director. Then they call you by name again. Now that title is no more because everybody's so obsessed with title. Nobody's delivering for the people. We need a leadership where they look at that salon and talent. Like when they say, hey, but how you make this? What do you need for support you? For let go body now. For let go able for develop yourself. That's all we need. And we need a leadership we're patriotic enough, we're transformational enough, we understand the intricacies of our economy, we're committed to uplifting the Sierra Leoneans out of poverty. And that's the type of leadership NGC is prepared to provide for this nation. And we are going to do it. Well, the only stumbling block we have is Kandeh Yumkella. We're going to fight him. Nothing is going to stop us. All we are warning, let the institutions of government, PPRC, let the court system understand the modus operandi that has been happening over the years during the Steven era. This is a different era. If you allow politicians and individuals to influence your constitutional responsibility to the people of this nation, your grandkids will read about it in the history books. And it will not be funny. The history will not be kind to you. So all I'm pleading, just be objective, be fair, ensure that democratic principles exist in the political parties so that everybody can exercise their democratic right as they see fit. You don't destroy the democracy at an embryonic stage and then you knock your chest, say I'm the head of this institution, I'm the head of that institution, I'm the judge here, I'm the judge there. That's not good for the nation, it's not good for your kids, it's not good for your own grandkids. Because we have no other country to go to. You see what is happening in America, you see what is happening in Europe. They are dumping all their foreigners out, kicking them out. So your own kids will have no place to go. Your own grandkids will have no place to go. This is the Sierra Leone God has granted us. Say this is what we call home. And it's God that made that choice, not us. You didn't make the choice for you to be born in Sierra Leone. It's God that made that choice. So we should respect his choice by working together, build this nation up for ourselves, for our kids, and the next generation. If you lose sight of that, then you've not learned the history of Steven. If you lose sight of that, you've not learned the history of Jamil Said Muhammad. If you lose sight of that, you've not learned the history of all the bad leaders we've had in the past that have disappeared in history. Today, if you mention their name, somebody will want to spit on you. And I don't want that. Even if I don't have money to give to my kids, but I want my integrity, the values that I stand by. When they mention my name, they should be proud to raise up their heads and be saying, yeah, that's my dad. And that's what I want for the chairman for PPRC to be proud of tomorrow. That's what I want the judges that sit on this issue to be thinking about when they make their decision. Let them don't allow any individual to tarnish their reputation for their own grandkids. Because we are writing down every minute of every action, every visit that I make to PPRC is written down, is recorded. The time, the date, and what happened, and how the person acted, whether they were receptive or not, whether they were open or not, whether they were fair or not, is written down. These days are not different from Steven era. Digitally captured. Everything. So all I'm pleading, let us work for the interests of the people of this nation.
Jesmed, let me hold you a little bit. The time in the studio says 9:57. We have 3 more minutes to go, but let's just take a quick development story before I come to you to say your goodbye message. The Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, through its Armed Forces Endowment and Loan Scheme, has paid a total of 116 million to 36 military personnel who were convicted last year for their involvement in the November 26 coup. My colleague Adonis Francis reports.
The Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, through its Armed Forces Endowment and Loan Scheme, paid the total amount of 116,573 loans to a total of 36 military personnel who were convicted last year for their involvement in the bloody coup of 26 November 2023. The said amount was paid to the soldiers as cash value benefits. The payment was completed on the 21st May 2025. In the full view of the authorities of the custodial facility at Pademba Road, Freetown, each convicted personnel was personally given his appropriate benefits. The Armed Forces Endowment and Loan Scheme is one of the public limited companies whose establishment was graciously endorsed by the President of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio, in his capacity as Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces and Chairman of Defense Council. On the assumption of office in April 2018, the Commander-in-Chief and Chairman of Defense Council promised to transform the armed forces into a modern military institution that will be admired and respected as a role model for security and development. Hence, in January 2022, the first transformation effort was actualized. Thus, AFIUS was established to provide financial services for military personnel. These financial services include cash value benefits, death benefits, and loan. In accordance with the AFIUS policy, the cash value benefit is personally paid to any military personnel who resigns, retires, or is dismissed for any crime. The benefit is calculated as follows: the total contribution for at least 2 years plus 25% interest of the said contribution. However, if the personnel's total contribution is less than 2 years, the 25% interest is 45. Moreover, death benefit is another welfare handled by AFIUS. The benefit is only paid to the beneficiaries of the deceased personnel. The beneficiaries must be listed in the deceased data capture form. The calculation of the benefit is the same as the cash value benefit. However, if the deceased total contribution is less than 2 years and or less than the total amount of 2,500, the flat amount of 2,500 is paid as death benefits.
Thank you so much to my colleague Adonis Francis for that report. Jasmed, we don't get much time again. What will be your key takeaway for this TV program this morning?
My key takeaway is that I want the people of Sierra Leone continue to get faith in the NGC party. As I mentioned earlier, I was part and parcel of the people that we convinced our NGC members and convinced the nation at large for that we get into an alliance. Today that alliance don't turn out to be an holy alliance, we become a trap for the NGC party. I don't extend an apology before, we in fact lead to the constitutional crisis we get to right now. They say them for suspend me as chairman and leader because I go apologize on television to the for the nation about an alliance. And I want to let the nation know, say, I meant what I said then, and I mean it now, that the NGC party in a practical sense is no longer part of an alliance. We continue to be an independent political party. We're not beholden to anybody else. We're not beholden to any political party or any individual. So I plea to every NGCian when we don't left this party, please come back. I, Jesmed Fodemami Suma, and all the top guns within the party, ready for embrace. Now let we join forces and move this party. The NGC is the moral conscience of this nation. And the only hope we'll get. We all don't see the years of failures of APC. We all don't see the years of failure of the SAPP. Now that make them feel terrified. Now that make Kandeh Yumkella do everything for destroy the NGC party or control them. Either I control them or I destroy them. So when I join forces with we, let we ensure the NGC continue for survive. And I will continue the fight as long as it takes for ensure the NGC remain an independent party. Just hope say NGC that the moral conscience of this nation. If you mean well for this nation, come join the NGC party, let's build it together. We will look for decent people them. We want for can lead this party here so that we will continue for make them a viable force in the geopolitics of this nation. Salon need leadership. NGC is the only hope to provide it. It not necessarily means leaders are not in the other party level, but it also means the platform upon which somebody emerges as a leader is far more important than the leader himself. If the platform is corrupt, is the institution where they lead is corrupt, obviously when it comes to election and they give them bad options. We want to establish a clean political party. We get focused on the interests of the people of this nation. We want to develop the lives of our people. We want to lift Simanida out of poverty. We want to give interest and focus on the interests of Sierra Leoneans when they do business in this country. We want to reduce the custom duties that Sierra Leoneans and they suffer. We want to make sure say that monopoly where other people can get over the importation of certain things where Sierra Leone will get your money, you want to bring that kind of same thing and they suppress you. We want to put an end to that one day. We want to liberalize the trade. So every Sierra Leonean, when a bona fide child of this nation, you get the money for import anything, you go import them, you don't worry about any government restriction. As long as not to bad thing in the import. We want to live to people them where they suffer under drugs right now. We picking them where they suffer under drugs right now. The NGC party are the only hope for take we picking them and able to carve a better future for them and save their life from drug addiction. NGC are the only political party. We're open for receive anybody. We're not they machinate you. We're not the way name you. If you mean well for this country and you want to develop this nation, come to the NGC party. Let's build it together. But we continue for fight against Kandeh Yumkella and minions them who want to take. But I send warning again to those heads of institution that every action or failure thereof is captured by the digitally. Your kids and grandkids will read about you. Whether you do the right thing, they will praise you. If you do the wrong thing, history will write about you. And you don't want to sell your own integrity, your morals,